Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Aisyah. Hope all of you have plenty of time to spend with me on my persuasive speech entitled Internship Program, Paid or Not to Pay. Is an internship is supposed to be paid, and at the same time, industries must expend money for practices, industrial learning skills, and also have the possibilities to face loss. How about the students? They spend 7 to 8 hours a day to give benefit to the company and end up they not accepting any for contribute to the company. Yes, they might do mistakes and wrongs here and there, but this always can be happen to someone who are new in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable industry players, academicians, employers, and students. An internship is basically an opportunity given by employers to university or college students to be a part of the company. It can be considered as an early and professional exposure to the real working environment. It can also be considered as a temporary job for students to garner new or improved skills in a professional industry that is related to the field of study. The internship period can last up to 6 months, and it depends on the major or specialization the student get into as well as the requirement stated by the university. I believe that employers that already ran an internship program already knows the pros and cons on that matter. For employers, internships provide numerous benefits to the employers at a very low cost, as in private, paid internship range is only 300 ringgit until 1000 ringgit per month. And at the same time, employers can use an internship program as recruiting tools, whereby which is one way to assess which interns to consider for full-time positions after graduation. Employers often convert interns to full-time employees seamlessly, which reduces or eliminates any training-related costs. And this is actually a bonus or advantage for an internship if they are apply or do the best in the company that she or he intern into. Employees who start out interns also are more likely to stick around than those who did not start as interns. Interns also bring energy, perspective, and new ideas to the employers. An indirect benefit to the employers is that interns keep current staff on their toes. Current employees may try harder for fear of being replaced by someone of younger, more eager, more enthusiastic, and with fresher ideas. However, there are companies that are not paying for the internship. Reasons are that employers incur corresponding expenses. Some employers argue that internships are training expense, and as a result, they cannot afford both provide training and also the compensation for the internships. That's mostly an issue if the fee is not great and employers have to invest significantly in time-consuming supervision. Other employers view internships as a recruiting cost. After interviewing this, they try out workers for a few weeks or a few months unpaid to see how they are really perform. But it is fair to expect a prospective employee to forego weeks of paid work so the employer can reduce its recruiting and training expenses. Could a prospective employee who already had a full-time job do the same? Most companies want a vacancy to be filled with an experienced worker. as already stated in the advertisement. The employers expected the unofficially an intern should be grateful for having a place for internship program. It's common for Malaysian employers to perceive the interns as short-term, unskilled and student-minded. According to the recruiting experts at Hays Malaysia, the main reason why companies pay interns so little, or some companies even unpaid the interns, because the interns actually bring less experience and skills to the table than their full-time counterparts. On the flip side, interns mean they have so much to offer. This mismatch of expectations causes frustration on both sides. Interns feel undervalued and employers feel interns are not worth the investment of their time, effort, or money. Darren Walker, who was a president of the Ford Foundation, noted that paid internships ensure equity of the opportunity. He was making the point that young people, how financially comfortable homes can afford to intern for weeks or months because their parents can help subsidize living expenses that a salary would cover. In the meanwhile, students from the less advantaged backgrounds cannot. Reality that happen from the internship program is the employer is profiting from the intern's labor, or on an individual level that depends on the effectiveness of the intern in the job. More broadly, however, the answer is yes, or employers wouldn't take on interns. In other words, the students also have their point. Certainly, college and universities can prevent employers from posting unpaid internships on campus. But some professions require clinical education to earn a license. Agreements between universities and other parties allow those internships to be unpaid. Changing that practice will be more challenging. Besides, the core problem lies in a loophole in the labor code that permits unpaid internship for students while preventing them for others. Students are well advised to set their sights on the target. And, legal or not, unpaid internships are likely to continue as long as people face barriers breaking into the workforce and some employers see the opportunity for free labor. But in Malaysia, new rule will come, which is the government has agreed to increase the allowance of paid internship in government ministries or agencies or sectors from 300 ringgit to 900 ringgit, which means that is 5 ringgit per hour before the last rule, which is only 15 ringgit per day. And this law already started on 1st September 2019, and all government ministries or agencies are expected to follow it. Dear students and listeners, I would like to appoint, especially to the students and all the interns, what we have to do in this current situation. We don't want to be underrated by the company or by the employers, but at the same time, ask ourselves, do we really have all the requirements needed by the company or by the employers for them to pay us? Do we have all the values and interpersonal skill communication to become an outstanding intern and highlight ourselves to be treated as one of the real worker in the company? Or do we really have all that? Or we just stay pessimist all the time we intern in the company? What can the company gain benefits from us? Or at the end they just face loss because of unskilled interns like us? My point here is not to blame all the interns, but I want to create awareness for students, especially to have the values, at least communication skills, using Excel, Microsoft Excel before they jump into the job world. Remember that supervisor is not our babysit to the interns, but the role of supervisor is just to supervise the interns. And at the same time, the company involved are supposed to take action as well. Be equal to interns and employees. They supposed to get treated as workers and give the training to the interns as best at school. All parties involved should take actions. Students, for example, must ready with good CVs, with good resumes, good communication skills, Excel skills, or any that is compulsory on the position requirement, while companies have to plan at least the journey of an intern, what skills they is supposed to have to be exposed, and how can they actually survive in the industry. And this could be a chance for company to reduce the recruiting cost for new vacancies. Ladies and gentlemen, I end up my persuasive speech with a quote: college is something you complete. Life is something you experience. Basically, life is about experience. Stop to fear, stop to afraid, and be hunger to learn new experience. That's all from me. Thank you for watching me until the end, and see you in my next future video. Assalamualaikum.